the same. At home, there are 17-year-old boys in there right here at firm. It's being in a gang called the Disciples High on Crack, total machine gun.
All right, what's going on? War on Reality report, and reality is getting weirder and weirder and stranger and stranger. I am really beginning to think that CERN has something to do with this. I know I flirt with that idea often, but damn it, man, I have no other way to describe what is going on here today. It must be CERN. It has to be CERN. We are living in a different timeline. I mean, there's no other explanation for this, Don. Somehow, we slipped into a black hole of some sort and ended up in another dimension, another timeline. I don't know, but here is where we find ourselves, Don. At least I get the pleasure of your company, sir. The legendary Don Jeffries is here with us today. Say what's up to the people.
Oh, yeah, definitely good to be here. It's like old times when we first started this on the old iconic thing. It was just you and me.
Yeah.
Before Tony, now Tony's a world-renowned traveler, consorting with the likes of David Icke. So we hope he remembers the little people. But it's it does obviously seem surrealistic, and most of it really. I mean, people like you and millions of others have been kind of feeling this longer than I have. As I said, I had I may have TDS now. I should probably go get a checkup. But but before I had it was Trump agnostic because he's the Trump you're seeing now for the last year is something different, way more extreme. It's like they shot him up with something, to make him go, extremely whatever he's doing. But and that's where we're at. It seems this way because of his actions in leading people like Hegseth, people like this, and the new guy was McMullen, or whatever the hell the guy's name is. That you see the kind of people he's getting who just wouldn't apologize to Rand Paul on the floor of the Senate when he confronted for saying he basically celebrated the fact that his neighbor jumped him from behind and almost killed him.
Right.
And he celebrated it, and he wouldn't back down. And this guy, I think he's going to be some big shot in Homeland Security or something. It's like these are the people Trump is going after. And you see, the Pam Bondi and the Kash Patels, people like that, what they're doing. But so I can't begin to tell you, and I don't know what's going on now. We'll talk more about Trump and what he's doing. Maybe you can find some of his true social posts because they're just getting increasingly. He's almost the point now where he's like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Where maybe they're going to walk into the White House and see he's gonna write "I was a bad boy" or whatever the hell he wrote, and whatever he had in The Shining 100 million times everywhere. I can almost see Trump doing that at this point. And I don't know. I don't know what it means. I still think he's an actor, but it's possible that he's just, although dementia doesn't usually act like this. He doesn't show the signs of dementia people normally do. He's just, I don't know what you would even call it, but it's super juvenile when you're saying it's fun to kill Iranians, as he has said. And we're winning bigly. And, in the midst of all the contrary evidence, that he's not winning at all, and then calling all of Europe cowards because they wouldn't join in his madness. So I at this point, I don't know who in America supports him. France kind of does, it looks like, but other than that, I don't know that he has an ally at this point. And that's, usually in the past when America was conducting one of their senseless wars, they could usually get an alliance. And all these people would fall behind him. Not this time. So maybe that's good. But however, look at it. You're driving by. Every time I drive by the gas station, it goes up 10 cents. So it's who knows what food prices will do, but they're going to explode because everything gets delivered by truck. This is madness, and no good will come of the stock market has lost over 5,000 points since Pam Bondi bragged about it being over 50,000 and watched me talk about the Epstein files. So can't say that now, but So I have no idea what's happened. But at this point, I don't think whether Trump's an actor or just becoming completely deluded and belongs in a padded room, he's not going to withdraw.
No.
Because either way, his ego is too big, and and he probably has nobody that will tell him. Tulsi Gabbard is scared to tell him anything. Her testimony was disgraceful. They were on the record as saying Iran wasn't a threat, and she was confronted with, well, last June, Trump said he got rid of all the nuclear surgical strike, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. And you said it at the time too. And why does she need money that bad?
Yeah.
Does RFK Jr. need money, really? I don't understand why these people. That's why I like the way Joe Kent at least resigned, but more of them need to do that. But then if you look at the Mark McMullen, or whatever the guys, if you look at the kind of the caliber of the people he's coming with,
right,
it's ridiculous.
No, I agree with you. It's this Mark Wayne Mullen dude, man. He's no better than Ice Barbie. It's the same thing, if not maybe worse. This guy has zero empathy. He making fun of Rand Paul after he got his ribs broken and a bunch of others. And Rand Paul had the balls to call him out. He said, "Say it to my face." And this guy couldn't even do that, really. You know what I mean? He tried to squirm his way out of it, which was telling. But these are the type of people that make up the Trump regime the second time around. And while, see, the thing is, the first Trump administration, we were still thinking in terms of how awful all these people are, and they are, but this is a different type of awful what's going on now. But back then in 2016 through 2020, this was the old guard. It was he had a lot of quote unquote swamp dwellers in the administration with him that were a little more aware of what was going on in the world, to put it lightly, and kind of steered him. Donald Trump has always been an instrument to be used. Donald Trump is not the initiator of any of this. He's always been manipulated. That's what Steve Bannon wanted from the beginning from Donald Trump. And the thing is, now there's nobody to reel him in. Everybody's telling him, "Yep, that's good. That's what we need," because they really believe that that's good and that's what they need. That's what they want. The people like Stephen Miller want this shit. People like Lindsey Graham want this crap. And they're sitting there just feeding him all of this. And he's like, "Yep, this is good." He literally believes the majority of the American public is behind it because this is what he's being told. If you look at press conferences that he has, he's been getting more pushback actually by the media, which is crazy to me. I think it's a sign of the times of what's going on right now, that some of these people in the media are pushing back on him now. Before, he would insult them and they would stay shut. Now it's like, no, and they push back. Not a lot of people, but there is more pushback than there was before. So I think that's something to note. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Jackson T. Barrett is already getting in his digs at me, where he's making fun of me being a boomer, I guess, because he said, "Why can't you boomers ever remember names?" So I couldn't remember that Mullins. Sorry, I try you. I don't know how old you were, but when you get to somewhere, you do start forgetting names. You misplace names, and I plead guilty to that. But
I forget names now, man. It's getting worse.
It happens. But it also reminded who was it? It was Karen Carpenter. Somebody that said, let me get this right here. No, Twisted Pistols, my buddy who came on the show yesterday on a phone call. It was cool. He said that he noted that Hillary Clinton, so somebody that does support Donald Trump, is Hillary Clinton. So I think that's what all MAGA people voted for, is for Hillary Clinton's support. So she's fully behind him on Iran. So I'm telling you, Billy Ray, if he decided to name Hillary Clinton the new Secretary of War or Secretary of State or something, everybody that's supporting him now would still support him.
Of course.
And so he's been good. Luciana's always been at war with Eurasia. It's a save. This is ridiculous. And John Bolton, that I got reminded when I saw that, when you mentioned Bannon, just published part 3 of the Epstein Files deep dive, thanks to Peter Seakosh's incredible research. But the more you find out about this guy Bannon, I don't know what he really is, but you talk about an absolute fraud leading the MAGA movement. This guy is on there bragging about how he steered Bolton into Trump appointing him. I thought he was supposed to be the exact opposite of that, but the Epstein files are revealing this stuff, and that they had a pretty close relationship,
Yeah.
Epstein and Bannon. And
Yeah.
now he's, he was hosting my friend Naomi Wolf on the War Room when no one would have her for a while, and now she's become an arch Zionist. I don't know what, it's smoke and mirrors. It's hard to tell at this point if anybody's legitimate. I get made fun of for quoting Candace Owens, and I'm going to have Dana Duda back on my show in a couple weeks, and she's done a deep dive into Candace Owens, and apparently he's come up with stuff about her past that's very similar to Erica Clark. I don't know. I'll wait and see, but I don't know if anybody's legitimate. I just want to say if I ever get to the point where people look into my past, I already admitted I grew up on a house that had the address 3333. I had nothing to do with it. I'm a little kid. And so
That's it.
something
That's
saw it.
enough. That's all we need. That's all we need, Don. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So let me know, so you can find things if you want. Obviously, something like that again had nothing to do with it. But and I never and my I love the number 33 because my first favorite football player was number 33. So I chose number 3 as my basketball jersey number. So I mean, I'm associated with this 33. So I must be a Mason, and I don't know it. I guess I don't know.
That's it. That's all that's all the proof that the alternative media and those that frequent in the alt media need 9 times out of 10. Did you see his address? 33. They're trying to tell us something. Don Jeffries is Illuminati confirmed. I got to check with Isaac Whiteside on this. He'll be the ultimate decider of the Illuminati confirmed Don Jeffries. But that's how ridiculous it's got. Right. People, I'm like, oh my God, his address was 33. 33. He must be a part of the Illuminati. It has to be, but things are spiraling out of control. Netanyahu's clearly alive. A lot of people were thinking that he was dead. He's alive. He's not dead. He's posting videos making fun of this stuff. Iran could possibly, they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, and now Trump is panicking, for lack of a better term. He doesn't know what to do. He's incredibly incompetent. They shouldn't have gone down this road to begin with. And now we're stuck. And now it affects the entire world, right? Everybody's losing money over this, and people are pissed off. They're asking, at least these are the reports that we're hearing, and we don't know what to believe at this point. We don't know what to believe from anyone. From Iranian news, the Iranians are saying they're winning. Drudge is saying Iran is winning, actually. Let me pull that up. But we don't know. We at the end of the day, it doesn't look good for what's going on here in the United States, but what the hell is this? We're at Rumble. Where is look at Palantir here. These are fake AI photos that I have here, but where is Drudge? I had Drudge up here. I'll look for it. Here goes Nick Fuentes. We'll play him later. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, but I'll look for the Drudge headline and put it up. But they're saying that Iran is saying that they're winning, and Don, you alluded to this a week ago, 2 weeks ago. That what are the odds that Iran is actually coming out on top here, or at least holding their own? They're doing some damage, it would appear. And Pete Hegseth is asking for $200 billion additional dollars to fund the war because it takes money to kill bad guys, according to him. That's what he said. Anyway, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, they have to repair all the things that they blew up in our bases there, which they didn't blow up, but I'm pretty sure that's why they need the money. They're sending Marines in. They've already sent, I don't know how many Marines in. This is just, and you could go back and see parallels in Vietnam. And that's why, Kennedy, the main reason I still think they killed JFK was because he was getting out of Vietnam. It's obvious. The evidence is overwhelming. And you saw what a mess that was. LBJ got in there. He kept getting sucked deeper and deeper in. Nixon got in and, again, kept getting sucked deeper and deeper in, thinking, you can't win these kinds of wars. In Vietnam, it was because the terrain was so bad and the fact that nobody was wearing a uniform. So you couldn't tell South from North Vietnam. Who are you even fighting? You don't know. It's not like they look any different. In this case, it's the logistics where Iran is a huge country and it's got like 90 million people and it's the mountainous terrain, much like Afghanistan, why nobody can ever win in Afghanistan. You're going onto their home court, and it's a rough place to play. They were very smart to build all these underground missile bases, so they're harder to bomb, and they apparently been, doing damage with cheap drones.
Right.
So apparently they're probably more competent than we are. You can't underestimate the incompetence factor here. I've been talking for a long time. I wrote something a few weeks ago about how nothing works anymore. Nothing works in America. I mean, you can't even buy a product like with a jar with a vacuum. You have to get a special device to open them half the time. I don't know how real old frail people do it. They can't even do that. They can't do anything. They can't make a product that lasts more than a year. Appliances, break down. Why would we think that militarily they're any more competent? They're not. And it's showing. I would guarantee you, whoever Iran's got over there firing at people are more competent than our boys and girls and they, thems, whatever the hell they got there. But I think that, this is, you can't, it's certainly, this is the most incompetent of all. So he's the one leading the charge. And he's got, Dr. Strangelove Jr. and Pete Hegseth over there, who's just, looks completely deranged as well. These are the people that are ruining. You get Stephen Miller, all the other art Zionists that have a tribal, motivation here. And that's the problem. The only good thing coming out of this is that the Zionist influence is being exposed more and more. I saw Tucker Carlson again. If he's an asset, he's a damn convincing one, and he sounded more like David Duke every day. I mean, he the other day he said again that when some woman asked him about does Israel have a right to exist, Tucker's the first one I said that had the balls. So what do you mean? Do they have a right to exist? He said, what does that mean by a right? Does any country have a right to exist? And he's exactly right. But they've always silenced criticism and say, well, you don't think Israel has a right to exist? Of course, the people there have a right to exist, but people everywhere have a right to exist. But does that country have a right to exist there? Does Ireland have a right to exist? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous statement, and it's designed to quell, dialogue, but it's not working. And so you have the entire, the alternative media is falling like dominoes now.
Yeah, man.
They're all going against Trump, and they're all lining up with the Squad and people like that have talked about this. So I don't know how this is. And then with CNN, who's the MAGA people have to switch their tune. CNN has because they've been bought by Larry Ellison as well, who bought TikTok. Larry Ellison, again, art Zionist. You're already seeing CNN changing its tune. Before they were viciously anti-Trump. Now they're bragging about a poll that 100% of the MAGA people support Trump. And you have all the great memes there with Kim Jong in North Korea, where he just won election by 99 point something. So he was better than him. Than North Korea. I mean, it's no poll. You can't find 100% support for anything. But
Now, Donna, I think I saw that. I saw that. That's Harry Enton. He's from the Bronx. Shouts to Harry. One of my favorites. I love watching Harry do his thing. He's funny. He's charismatic. And they pretty much trashed Trump there and said that he's really underwater with most. He's underwater with independents by 61%. It was crazy. But then they said 100% of MAGA still believes, and he's right. Like if you're in the cult, 100% of MAGA is still going to back him because they're MAGA, So thank you, babe. So
I'll tell you how many people are still in MAGA.
Well, yes, we Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, no, and it's so I just think that this is just, it just incenses me because again, as an anti-war guy all my life, I don't know why this makes me madder than the Gulf War and all that stuff because that dragged on forever, and it just this is. And we didn't have, as bad as George W. Bush was and Obama and all of them. They didn't. Even George W. Bush at his worst couldn't. When he was saying he's the decider, he couldn't hold a candle to Trump. And I'm pretty sure George W. Bush agrees with what's happening here too, just like Hillary Clinton does. So Trump. So maybe those are MAGA now, but we're seeing all the people that every one of the leading figures that would have been associated with Trump, they've all now disassociated themselves. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, even Joe Rogan, people like that. I don't know
Nick
who he has
Fuentes,
left.
Alex
Yeah, Nick,
Jones is crying. I don't believe a word Alex Jones says, but
yeah,
Alex
Alex
Jones is
Jones.
crying
Yeah,
about it.
Alex Jones is he's really butthurt that that Trump broke up with him or whatever because he wants to and he's trying to justify it, but yeah, he's just mad. He's mad that Trump's doing this, and he's still trying to blame it on Saudi Arabia or something like that. He can't blame it on Israel no matter what. But the mask is down with Israel. Everybody's saying that's the good thing. But now, what happens after this? I don't know. And we may get not that JD Vance would be good, but JD Vance has been on the record more of thinking this was stupid. And you notice he's been noticeably silent. I think they put him in the background. Him and RFK Jr. and Tulsi over in the corner, and they're not allowed to say anything. And but this supposedly privately, he's rethinking running for president now because he thinks this war is going to be such a disaster he won't have a chance. So I think you're going to see little Marco Rubio probably, Nikki Haley, or some other warmonger. And again, it's hopefully that will mean the 70 million or 50 million at least of the Trump people that voted for Trump will break off into a new party. I hope. Hopefully this kills the Republican Party. That's the only, and maybe we'll get something new and better.
I think it's going to kill MAGA. And the Republican Party will return to what we are used to, because I like to make distinctions between MAGA and the Republican Party. I think they're two different things. So I think it'll kill MAGA, and maybe that sector will build their own thing, but it's a minority. The true hardcore MAGAs are a minority here. What got Trump into office was everybody else, the low information voter and the low propensity voter that were drawn in by social media and the hardcore fifth generation warfare that went on, telling them that Trump was going to be good for the economy. No new wars were going to happen, all of this stuff. And of course, he was never any of that, but people believed it because Biden was so awful. They were like this, they completely forgot about the time they spent with Trump. But then again, there was a lot of propaganda in there, but Biden was so damn awful that people went back to, well, at least the perception was that Biden was so awful that people went back to Trump, and Trump is like, hold my beer. Let's really bring this down. Let's really tear this apart. I pulled up something here that I want to get into a little bit with these $200 billion extra dollars that Pete Hegseth is asking for, and what can actually be done with it. So Pete Hegseth is asking for an additional $200 billion. Don't forget they spent $95 billion in a month on lobster, on steak, on Apple computers, on you freaking name it, they did it, right? And for whatever the reason was, they spent $95 billion of your dollars, for that. And now he's asking for $200 billion. And they're saying, what can be done with this money? It's apparently 20% to 25% of the total annual U.S. defense budget, right? And with the amount of money, and this is in addition to what they've already spent. So imagine putting all of this stuff together, but just with the $200 billion, they can expand Medicare for people that they're fighting against tooth and nail, that's saying there's too much money, they can't do it, but it's okay to go kill people in Iran, that's fine. They can expand Medicaid also. The ACA, that's Obamacare, that's helped out many, many people. They can expand that. But they don't want to do that. Food stamps, they don't want to do that either. 2 to 4 million people in need would benefit from these $200 billion. For the ACA tax credits, they can fund it for 7 years, for 7 freaking years with this amount of money. They can expand Medicaid for 15 million Americans. They can expand Medicare, dental, vision, and hearing coverage to the program. Universal pre-K for kids, K through 12 education. This one, higher education for free. Community college can be for free for people. That goes a long way. Trade schools. Those of you, there's a lot of people that are against the schooling system, and they're like, they should go get trades because of AI. Well, here we go. 1,000 new trade schools across the country could be built with this money. Affordable housing. Isn't affordability a problem? MAGA would say that they require that they need. Affordability was an issue. Affordability, and Donald Trump was supposed to, bring back the times of when America was rolling high with money and everything was good and the economy. He was going to fix it. Well, affordable housing, you can construct 100,000 new housing units annually. This is not just one thing. Annually with this amount of money. Look at this one for everybody that was expecting their Doge check. Middle-class tax relief, provide a $3,500 tax break for every middle-class family. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? And of course, other things that people just don't care about, like preventing child death and starvation. All of that could be addressed. And this is just the short list of what could be done with the $200 billion that Pete Hegseth is currently asking for. But he's going to get this money most likely. And if he doesn't, he's going to get a portion of it. But no matter what he gets, it's ill spent because it's going to be spent on a war. Nobody freaking wants war. And nobody wants it here in the United States, whether you're, and I'm not talking about the political brass. They are war hungry. I am talking about the people. I'm talking about the Democrats, people that are liberals don't want this war. People that are independents don't want this war. People that are conservative don't want this war. And people that are MAGAs don't want this war. We don't want the freaking war, okay? Because the people at the head of these parties or of these political organizations, because they endorse the war and they want the war, that does not mean the people want the war. We don't want this. We don't want this. So give us our $200 billion and let's build some schools. Let's build some trade schools. How about that? Let's fix the infrastructure that we keep talking about here in the United States. I wonder what can be done with that. And Don wrote Survival of the Richest. And that's my favorite Don book. I think he was on point with that one more than any of the books he's ever written. That book was more on point, in my opinion, because it hit on a core issue. That it's us that are propping up this system, and we don't get our due back in return. And then we've been brainwashed into saying, "Oh no, this is fine. This is the way it should be." We should be supporting the rich. We should be allowing for all of this shit to happen, and we will carry this system no matter what happens to us. So these are all the short list of things that we could be doing with $200 million, Don. What's a billion? Sorry.
No, absolutely. And, if Trump remembered some of the great things he said when he was running for president the first time, he talked about all the money that we spent on all these senseless wars. He said, you could have built America over twice with that money, rebuilt America twice. And he was exactly right. And I guess he's forgotten that. But, people, they've been conditioned. Like I said, I talk about left-wing propaganda all the time, woke propaganda. And I talk enough about that. That's real, and people have been conditioned about that. But they've been conditioned on right-wing propaganda. That's what I talked a lot about in Survival of the Richest. And they've learned to know that the people never get anything. Mm-hmm. So that's why when they were talking about Doge last year, everybody said, we're never going to get that. Nobody thought we were going to get a $5,000 check. Nobody. And of course we didn't, because we never do. But there's never money for that. Whenever people don't realize that your income taxes they just pay the fake interest on the debt, which isn't even real. Our debt is phony. A real populist would come in there and say, let's repudiate the debt. It's not real. It's not our debt. We didn't agree to this shit. It's not ours. So let's repudiate it. No more debt. That's what it should be. But you have both sides saying it's irresponsible. We're running up the debt. The debt's not real. Hey, what is it? How many trillions of dollars is it? You couldn't call it in if you want, because it's created out of thin air. Yeah. And all the interest is obviously created out of thin air. Repudiate it. Jackson T. Bear keeps saying we're not reading the comments, and he keeps talking about Podesta. Nobody hates Podesta more than I do, Jackson. I don't know what you want me to say.
Don't worry about Jackson.
That's fine.
I struggle with Jackson sometimes, man. I'm like, I don't even think he's a real person. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I can't tell if he still supports
if
Trump.
Jackson ever did a show, Jackson's never done a show. He's never been on the other end of the microphone. He doesn't know what it's like to sit here and go. I can't go through every freaking comment, dude. Okay. And there's 87 people watching across platforms. Okay. We have several different platforms that we broadcast on. It's 87 right now.
Yeah.
God bless you guys, all the 87 people watching. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll get to the comments. We'll get to the comments, guys. We're not purposely ignoring anything. It's just we're doing a show here. Go ahead, Don. Don't worry about it. Continue.
Yeah, no, it's so. But this was my point in Survival of the Richest and everything I say. And the point why I still love Huey Long is because either we have the money or we don't. Every time we need a war, if Israel needs money, when Ukraine needed money, it was there. They didn't have to say where's it coming from? Did you have conservatives or liberals saying, where are you going to get the money for that?
Right.
How are you going to do that? Who's going to pay for that? There's no such thing as a free lunch. And that's what they say when you talk about giving people any kind of benefits. Expanding Medicare, which, and again, I'm the only critic of Medicare because it's a horrible system. It's better than not having anything.
Right.
But they should reform Medicare and make it so that it's 100% coverage and you don't pay a monthly fee to get your own money back. But no, let me know when you hear the first politician talk about that. But so the entire aim of practical politics, as the great William Henry Harrison said, only lived to be 30. He only was president for 30 days. And he might only last for 30 days because he had that great comment that after a lifetime of politics, I've come to the conclusion that the entire aim of all this is to make the rich richer and the poor poor. Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. We have no upward mobility, as I showed in Survival of the Richest. Trump has made so many promises about what he's going to do for people. Ultimately, the only thing he did is he cut taxes for the richest Americans, which is the same thing Reagan did. And others have been Bush's. That's what the Republicans do. And it's not like the Democrats come in and slash taxes or give tremendous rebates to the lower income people. This is why war is always popular, because no one questions. And again, I said the people have been conditioned by propaganda. No one asks, where are you going to get the money for that? When Hegseth says we need $200 billion. Yeah. Where are you going to get the money for that? Who's going to pay for that? There's no such thing as a free lunch. Nobody's going to say that. It will just happen. Trump has already got, I forget, 100 and some million at the start of the war for extra support. He didn't even go to Congress for it. Where did it come from? It's not on budget. That's why Doge was so important and so exciting if it had been real, because all this stuff would have been exposed. Where does this money for Israel come from when they need it, or Ukraine, or some kind of the banker bailout, the GM bailout? Where does that come from? It's not on budget. Yet when we want to have something done and fix the potholes in the street, well, we're going to have to raise the gas tax.
Right.
How come you don't have to raise the gas tax for any of these military expenditures? So that's why it was so exciting to contemplate what Elon Musk claimed he wanted to do, which was to audit the Pentagon next. And that's what we were hoping he was going to do.
And they were never going to get anywhere with any of it. But no. I think Doge, and I've said this many times before on the broadcast, when Doge was popping off hard and everybody was like, yeah, Doge is doing it. They're doing their thing. We're all for it. I told you they weren't going to do anything. And the most things that they did do was collect information. They collected information on you and me and everyone else. They still have all of that information. What was that information for? I think that this is the main purpose of Doge. They were never going to fix anything.
That's what it looks like now, yeah.
Nothing. They were never going to do anything. All they did was collect all our information. Why did they do that? We need to hold them accountable for something like that. Also, the people in Rumble. I neglected you because I don't see Rumble here on StreamYard. I don't know why. There's 94 people watching across platforms on StreamYard, in addition to the 58 or 60, I forgot what it was. It's 58 on Rumble right now. What's up, everybody on Rumble? I will get to you too and say what's up. I have it up now. Jason Barker helped me set this up today. Thank you so much, Jay, for your help with the Rumble, because I don't know how to do it, and now I kind of do. I think we'll figure it out. But at least I have access to the chat. I'm going to say what's up to all of you guys as well. I do want to talk about, in the remaining time we have, and we have some more reviews. You guys have been great about these reviews. You guys make me feel good seeing that there are people out there that resonate with the show and that they have open minds and they know that everyone is coming from it on the show. Me, Tony, and Don, we're coming from it from different sides. We're giving our different opinions on this, and that's the purpose of the show. You may not agree. You may very much disagree with somebody. You may very much agree with somebody, but you're still listening because you get something out of it. And I really appreciate that. So people have been leaving reviews. Thank you. I think we got like 3 or 4 to read today. So I want to get that. I want to get to that by the end of the show. It helps. It helps our visibility. It helps boost numbers, all of that. So thank you so much. All right. Trump is on top of all of this. He's losing his mind, and I think he's always been crazy, Don. But it's even more and more evident now. I don't know about the dementia thing. That's what's going around. It looks like he's exhibiting some aspects of it, but I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, But I'll tell you this: something's going wrong. He never really had a filter, but it's like broken down completely right now. He was sitting with a lady from Japan. I don't know if she's I don't know her position. I have to look it up. And I'll look for the video before I throw it to you. I don't know if you saw it, but the Japanese weren't very happy, and like a lot of nations around the world weren't very happy that the United States and Israel pulled off this attack on Iran without telling anyone. And Trump turns around and goes, you know all about sneak attacks. You didn't tell me when you bombed Pearl Harbor. And this lady is just like, her face is just, oh my God, it's priceless to watch. It's like, how do I react to this? Like, it's like, wow. And like the people in the room were just like, huh? What did this guy just say? And it's continuing to get worse and worse and worse. It's more, and another thing that you said that I want to touch on is that, the Israel aspect of it. And when we talk about Israel, we're talking about the government of Israel and not the people of Israel. We're talking about the government and what they're doing. It's becoming more and more evident that, they're in control here in the United States. And at least we can't deny it at this point that they're in control here with this guy. They completely got him wrapped around his finger. It's even been admitted that they went to war with Iran because of Israel. Marco Rubio said as much. I mean, there's like 5 different explanations to it. They're still trying to find out which one to stick to. But the thing is, Donald Trump is so easily manipulated because he's dumb as fuck. And I'm sorry for somebody. There's some people out there that were like, Billy, you curse on the show. I can't listen to it around my kids. I apologize. Don't listen to it around your kids, bro. I'm going to curse from time to time. But this guy is just dumb as a stone. And I can't believe the amount of stupidity, the freaking next level stupidity that comes out of this administration, but it's top down because the guy is a freaking buffoon. To say things like this and to be so easily manipulated by anyone that steps in the room and tells him that he's doing a good job, we got a serious problem. Tony last week said, we have been taken over by a foreign entity. He's absolutely right. Several foreign entities. All right. It's Israel. It's Russia. You name it. Whomever comes in here gives him a freaking gold bar and tells him how nice his hair is and that he's the greatest president ever will probably get their way. That's what's going on here. I'm going to look for the clip. What are your thoughts, Don?
Yeah, well, I think that it's good to see Piper Fogel in here. But Piper, read my work. Pearl Harbor was no surprise. So FDR pretty much he might as well been he might as well have been flying one of the planes himself. So I don't think that was much of a surprise.
They knew. Anyway, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's the only way they got America into World War II. By the way, after that they went for at that time, and that's why again, unfortunately, America sees. I'm hoping that, and I think the younger people. Generation Z are, very jaded now, and they understand how ridiculous these were. They didn't even bother with a false flag, this time. But so they don't care enough. They don't even give us a stupid false flag to accept now. They just went ahead and did this. It can't be justified by any means. I don't know how they're going to get this to support for the war, because said in World War II, the only reason you went from overwhelming opposition to World War II and the America First movement, which is the original America First movement, that it was because of Pearl Harbor. And that's why I apologize, Piper, if you knew that, but it sounded like maybe you thought that they were, because that's basically Church Trump doesn't admit it. But so the idea, something like that, it certainly doesn't equate to this, because what we're doing is it's senseless. There's no, what is the motivation here? And again, I think, with all due respect, Billy Ray, that there's one foreign nation that occupies us, and it's Zog now. And now we can openly say it. Before, it was only the forbidden corners of the internet that talked about Zog, Zionist occupied government. Now Candace Owens talking about it. Tucker Carlson isn't so many words. So it's okay. You go to play the clip there. Let's see what this.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the clip. But finish up. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I want to see the clip. It's fine.
Okay, let's do this here.
The country's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi to the White House.
So the Prime Minister of Japan. All right, here we go. Let's see it.
Said Japan was, quote, stepping up to the plate,
come on.
unlike NATO. It comes after Trump previously complained about Japan's lack of support in helping to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Come on.
However, Trump then invoked...
This sucks. I thought this was the actual clip. Hold on. Maybe they have it. Let me keep going. See if they let. Why would they not let him talk? Hold on.
Signal too much, when we go in, we went in very hard. Signal too much. One thing, you don't want to signal too much, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay.
Look at her face, dude. She's like, huh? Like, why would he say something like that? It's just like, right. Dude, he's become your crazy uncle that you're afraid to freaking bring to the party because he's going to say something inappropriate. This is out of control. Go ahead, Don.
No, and these White House meetings, he's had several. And the first time, a lot of us cheered when he called out the South African leaders and played that tape and everything. And then what did he bring, about 30 South African men? And that was the end of the story. I don't think he said something about South Africa since then in a year. So he does these little moments and he gets people excited. Maybe they think he's going to do something big that they want to be done. And of course, he also had the Zelensky thing where he dressed him down and Zelensky looked like a scolded little kid. And basically, he literally threw him out of the White House.
Yeah, he
didn't miss a payment to Ukraine. And now, I don't know if you heard, the big story is that, yeah, exactly, Ron Held. The big story is that Putin is apparently giving Trump an ultimatum that says, hey, look, we will help you with the Strait of Hormuz here. We'll help you with Iran. But you have to stop sending any aid to Ukraine. And Trump is insane about that because, again, Russia has right war. And this is the guy. I thought he threw Zelensky out of the White House because he didn't want to give you. You're ungrateful. You didn't even say thank you. He hasn't missed a payment, and now he's upset that Putin would suggest that. So that's what I mean. The guy he's impossible to figure out. I don't know what principles he has, if he has any. But he's an actor. And, whether he's an actor now with dementia, I don't know. But it's not easy to watch. Jason DeBear says, was Hiroshima a sneak attack? A lot of people think, Jackson, that didn't happen. I've got lots of people that read my Substack that chastise me regularly. Why do you keep talking about nuclear weapons? They're fake and gay. And maybe they are. Everything else is. So why wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'll be fake until they drop one on their heads. And then they're like, oh, well, then they'll be dead. So it won't matter. People are so spoiled nowadays. Oh yeah, nuclear bombs are fake until they freaking drop one and you die of radiation sickness. Take your dumb ass to Chernobyl and see what happens. Yeah. All right, just sit there for a little while and report back. Hit us back to America Unplugged and let me know after you see your doctor how that turns out. Regardless. Yeah, it's out of control, Don. It's completely out of control. Let me hit the chat real quick, and then we'll get up out of here, and I'll go over to Rumble also and say what's up to some of the people there. Peter C. Kosh is in the chat. How you doing, Pete? What's going on in San Francisco? Greetings and blessings to you. Thank you for everything you do. Hope you're well. Ashley's in the chat. What's up, Ash? How you doing? What's going on? Hope you're doing well out there. Good to see you. Thomas Clayton is in the chat. What's up, my guy? How are you, Thomas? Do you like me this week or you hate me this week? It's all good. I always love you, Thomas. Thank you for tuning in. Ron Helton is in the chat. What's up, Ron? How you doing? Good to see you. Twisted Pistol. What's going on, Twisted? How you doing? Hope you're doing well, brother. Jackson T. Barrett is in the chat, always giving us hell. Thank you for being here, Jackson. We appreciate you. Let me see who else. I saw Karen Carpenter in the chat. RB Ham, the dude. Are you going to be on with RB today?
Yes, tonight at 8 p.m. on Beyond the Pale, on his Beyond the Pale Rumble channel. So look for it. I have the link on my social media, but 8 p.m., same time as usual. Salim Mansur, the very esteemed professor that I'm proud to be discussing things with.
Okay, fantastic. Karen Carpenter, like I said, how are you? Good to see you. I'll be watching Knights of the Storm, or at least listening to it in my travels throughout New York City. They're on at 2 p.m. on Rumble, Knights of the Storm. You know the deal. Jason Barker's in the chat. What's up, Jason? Thank you for helping me set up the stream today with the Rumble. I appreciate you. Let me scroll up and see anybody that I've missed here, and then we're going to read. Oh, Piper. What's up, Piper? How are you? Good to see Piper. James was in the chat. What's up, James? How you doing? Good to see you. Julia. What's up, Julia? Good to see you. I don't think I've ever seen Julia before. How are you? Not to say that you haven't been here. I just don't see you. So I don't see a lot of these things sometimes. So, but good to see you. White Wolf is in the chat. What's up, White Wolf? John Lawler. What's going on, buddy? How are you? Kenny Powers, my guy. How are you? AEW's been pretty good. It hasn't been awful. I'm contemplating buying one of those replica belts, but I'm not sure. Julia says, that's right, BRV. They collected our health information and financial information, and she's referring to Doge, I think, and I think she's absolutely right. They collected all of that. And they're going to use it against us. They have that, and nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about what Doge did. They'd rather talk about the fraud, the waste, fraud, and abuse that they didn't find. And they didn't, you can even make the argument that they weren't even trying to find it. Okay. But there's that. They didn't find any waste, fraud, and abuse. And if they did find any, it was minimal. Tons of food went to waste that they could have given to at least kids here in the United States, right? If it was America first, right? They should have taken that food in a warehouse. There was one that was in a warehouse here in Texas. Tons and tons of food. It all went bad because USAID was.
Dawn Lambert wants us to say hi to her. Of course, we see you, Dawn.
Lambert's in the chat, and I missed it. Dawn, how are you? My apologies. I would never purposely overlook your name. If I saw it, I'd shout you out. So thank you. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Let me head over to Rumble and see what's going on over there. Let me see if I can find it. Boom, here we go. What's up, Rumble? What's up, everybody over there? Harps is over there, who may not exist. I'm not sure if Harps is a real person. It's just because he's from Australia, and I don't know if Australia is a real place, and I will hold on to that belief because that's what I want to believe. So I think Harps is from Connecticut, if he's real at all. Let me see. Narrow Way is in the chat. How are you? Yona, what's going on, my guy? Hope you're doing well. Jason Barker figured out how to be two places at once. That's incredible. Who else is over here? I think I saw Colin Wysong. What's up, Colin? Do Not Obey is in the chat. What's going on? How are you? A lot of repeat offenders here. Yona and Nostradamus. What's up, yo? Nostradamus, what's going on? That's it. Oh, Misfit 1904 is in the chat also. That's it. I'm scrolling. A lot of repeat offenders here. OT Oracle of Truth. What's going on? And Christ is in the chat. How are you? And good to see you. Haven't seen you in a bit. May Nancy Blake is in the chat also. What's going on? Love you guys, man. Thank you for being here and tuning in with us. Tony should be back next week. And maybe we'll bring on some guests. I mean, some people that have been wanting to sit down with us, and we'd be happy to house them. We are 76 strong over on Rumble right now. And collectively on all the other places that we are streaming, we are, let me see, 105 strong. So thank you so much for everybody that decided to tune in this morning or afternoon, wherever you may be. Don, do you have anything to say to these beautiful people?
Oh, I don't know if we missed Twisted Pistols. My friend my new friend who came on the show, you got to see him again, and I learned something yesterday, Billy Ray.
From
I
Twisted?
didn't know what I didn't know what the term Chicano. He says he's a Chicano, and I thought Chicano was like a synonym for Hispanic, but apparently Chicano's half Mexican and half. So he's a half Mexican and half gringo. And so I learned a new term. I said Chicano. Okay, cool. So he educated me on that. And I also don't know if we said hi to who was I looking at? Well, of course, Jackson D. Bear, John Lawler, who
Yeah.
loves my shirt.
I shouted out all those people, sir.
Did you shout them? Okay, I thought you missed it. So
no, I got them, but thank you for getting them again, just in case we never know. And let me tell you something about Twisted Pistol. He's neither Mexican nor a Chicano. Okay, and he's not in any position to be educating anyone. Okay, so
I still don't know what it means.
that guy. No, I love Twisted. Twisted's my dude, but he gives me a hard time all the time. So I'm gonna give him a hard time in return, Mr. Twisted Pistol. He's a good guy. He's a really smart guy, tough dude. I like Twisted quite a bit. All right,
yeah.
We're going to the iTunes, Apple Podcast reviews. Thank you so much for the 3 or 4 new reviews we got, all 5 stars. We appreciate you. I'm gonna read some. We're gonna if I don't get them all today, I'll definitely get them next week. But I'm gonna read some of these to you people. Somebody put draft. And I got to bring this very close to my eyes. You must break crazy. It looks like draft. That's the name of the post. Give us 5 stars. He says, if they implement a draft, there will probably be a civil war or a huge upheaval of Americans not on board with overseas conflicts or wars started by one man, and Congress has no teeth to protect the American people. That's the comment. React to that, Mr. Don Jeffries.
Yeah, I'm on board to that. I've been against every war. I might not have even supported the war for independence. Probably would have. I would have supported the war for 1812 because we were attacked. But we haven't been attacked, and I don't include Pearl Harbor, since the War of 1812. So I believe only wars of defense. Otherwise, I don't have no interest in war.
No interest in war here either. Only wars in defense. That's it. We have another one, 5 stars by Tony. Great show, he says. 3 great people sharing truth. Well, we're attempting to share truth. Don't ever take anything that we say as truth. It's our opinions, and we have to look into it. But thank you, I appreciate it. It says 3 great people sharing truth. This show has helped me grow. I didn't like Billy, but he made me grow to see all aspects of someone's views. Don's great. Tony is doing a lot of great things. I'd love to join y'all sometime on the show. What's up, Tony? How are you? Greetings and blessings. Thank you for leaving the review. Thank you for, I assume you like me now, which is good. Thank you. I like it when people like me, so that's dope. Thank you, Tone. Yeah, man. Let's see what's up, brother. Thank you for your continued support. What's this? This is another. Oh, react to Tony, Don. Go ahead.
Well, he said we were great, so.
Right. Here we go with another one. Let me read this one. This is a lengthy one. So I'm not going to read all of it. The Voices of Reason and Hard Truths by Pandora's Paradox. Thank you. 5 stars. Thank you for that. I've been listening to America Unplugged along with each of your individual podcasts. That's crazy. Thank you so much. That takes a bunch because we're all over the place, and it's everybody's different views. We're different days. So thank you. And I thank you personally for your support of anything that I do. I appreciate you for that. Okay. I've been listening to America Unplugged along with each of your individual podcasts, and it's become a staple for me. What stands out most is how difficult it is to ignore what's happening once you start paying attention. It genuinely feels like a lot of people are still asleep to it or choosing not to see it. I think you're right. I think there's more people are, for lack of a better term, waking up. I think we're waking up to another part of the delusion, another part of the deception. I don't think there's a full actual awakening. And I'm talking about us here in the alternative media. I think we're seeing some things for what they are, but we're still in this bubble. But yeah, I largely agree with that comment. And then she goes on to list some movies that like V for Vendetta 1984, which is a book, Fahrenheit 4. 1984 was a movie too, right, Don?
Yeah, they made a couple movies of it. Yeah.
Yeah, none that must have been good because
they never they haven't been able to just like Dracula. They were my two favorite novels. They've never been able to get the novel right on screen. In 1984,
Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan directs 1984. It's going to be incredible. He's the new Stanley Kubrick, in my opinion. He's fantastic. Anyway, 1984 and Fahrenheit 451. And how they draw parallels to today's reality, and she's going back and forth. I'm assuming it's a she. I don't know why, but she's going back and forth thinking that this is predictive programming in a way because it's so spot on. So, what are your thoughts to her? Thank her and give her your thoughts on the comments.
Again, very nice. I mean, how do you respond to anytime I get comments? I appreciate the kind words. I mean, it's anybody listening, and that includes people that don't like us. I mean, Jackson T. Barrett is kind of disagreeing with a lot of what we say. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, we do.
I think you sometimes hit my show. I used to see you more often than, but so certainly I like to be challenged. So if somebody disagrees, that's fine. I want to be an echo chamber, so it's nice. I just appreciate you being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was one more by Brian in Japan. What's up? All the way from Japan. What's going on? And this is the one that we were going to read last week, and somehow it disappeared. But he reposted it because he heard the show, and so he put. I sent this in on March 9th, but seems to have gotten sucked into the ether. So I'm sending it again per Billy's request. And of course, no need to read this part, but I'm reading it because it touches on what we did last week. So I'm going to read some of this. This was also a very lengthy one. Now, I do read all of these. Tony reads all of them too. So we get everything. So please write down everything that you want to write down. But just in the interest of time, we got to go today. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, no, don't give me a 53-year-old podcast addict credit for that phrase in the title. The phrase in the title is, these guys are fact-pilled, not black-pilled. I love it. I got it from these three intelligent, heartfelt gentlemen's podcast over the weekend of March 7th. But that's not all. I get whenever I tune into these guys and I get on my bicycle in my expat Yankee life in central Japan. That's very dope, bro. Good for you. I hope everything is going great over there, man. Let me know how the life is over there. I was supposed to go to Japan this summer. It still might happen, but it doesn't look likely. But I hear that they're a little anti-tourist right now. I know things are going up. I don't know if that's propaganda that I'm reading or what. So let me know. But thank you for your comments. We appreciate you, the 5-star comment. Next week I will go back and read the entire comments for both of the ones that were lengthy that I can't get to today. But I'll read all of them. And on top of whomever leaves more comments, I'll do an extra 15 minutes next week to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. All right. Don, the legendary Don Jeffries, tell the people where they can find you and what shows you're going to be on, the whole deal. Come on.
I also want to apologize to the person living in Japan. I would apologize to Japan on behalf of America for Donald Trump's stupidity. But certainly, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear that it's better. I've said this before. I've had, I don't know how many people on Substack that have lived in China that tell me, every one of them tells me life in China is better than it is here, and they're free.
Yeah,
it's like. I mean, what's that saying? I mean, I thought China was the ultimate bad place to live. So anyhow, I appreciate all the kind words. Substack's the only place where I'm not being shadow banned. Donald Jeffries at Substack.com. I protest just like here. My podcast is 5 p.m. Eastern every Friday, and all my books are out there. You know where to find me, at Don Jeffries on Twitter. So I appreciate all the support.
Fantastic. You know where to find Don. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. The Gorilla Underground, 7 p.m. Eastern on X, on my X, and on my YouTube channel. Thank you for all the people that are supporting over there. Tune in. We're going to be live this Sunday, Lord willing, and Sundays after that, we're going to have some guests, and we're going to talk all about this.
Billy, I'm just putting it before we go. I put this thing on there. I caught it earlier. I don't know if this guy's real or whatever, but he claims I'm not on Twitch. If any of you guys are on Twitch, he said he knows somebody that's holds thousands of viewers, has about 3 million followers, and he claims he can help the show grow. I don't know if you want to follow. If you're on there, Jims07, I don't know. I'm not on Twitch. Tell him Suntel sent you.
Okay. Let me take a picture of this. Yeah, we're not on Twitch. But whatever. I mean, sure. Thank you for taking the time to write in and letting us know. We appreciate you being here, and thank you for taking an interest in the show. Don, what are we playing? What are we playing to get us out of here?
You got my boy Elvis Costello or Tom Petty, whatever, whatever you got.
Let's do Elvis Costello since you love him so much. I
I
love Tom Petty also, but how did I get Elvis Crespo? I'm looking for Elvis Costello. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Everything It Takes. That's 2016. Veronica. You want Veronica?
Sure, Veronica's good.
Or Watching the Detectives?
Watching Texas is good too. Veronica's fine. That's the one he supposedly wrote with your boy Paul McCartney. That's when he was working with him briefly.
It's probably his best song because Paul had something to do with it. All right. We will see you guys next week, Lord willing. Everybody stay up.
Yep.
Peace.
I used to know a girl and I could have sworn that her name was Veronica. Well, she used to have a carefree mind of her own and a delicate look in her eye. These days I'm afraid she's not even sure if her name was Veronica. Do you suppose her hands in hands